y'all, and welcome to this week's episode of Let's Chat with Curry and Adrian. I am Curry Terrell. With me, as always, the incredible, soon-to-be birthday boy, Adrian McMillan.
This is going to come out on my birthday.
TIFF edition.
ASMR.
This is our special Toronto International Film Festival video, aka podcast, not a video.
No, we do not do videos.
And Adrian just got back, literally this day, 1 a.m. today.
Can you believe that?
I can't. I can't believe you're up and like ready to move.
Yes, that was not the case a few hours ago, but now I'm okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Adrian's been gone for 3 days. He saw a ton of movies we're going to talk about.
7 specifically.
7 films. That is incredible.
I cannot believe.
I can't either. And he also got to talk to a couple people live and in person on a very fancy microphone. So we're going to start with those.
Curry, I don't know if you can hear me. We're testing. We're going to try to ask some people some questions. Excuse me, do you have a few questions for a podcast? She said no. Do you have a few seconds for a question for a podcast? Sorry, no worries. Curry, everybody keeps saying no. Is this how you felt when we used to do the YouTube videos? Do you have a few seconds about Toronto International Film Festival? Yeah. Are you going to see anything?
Sure, yes.
What do you have on your schedule?
Megalopolis, is that what it's called?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the Coppola film.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Taking Care of Business one.
Okay, and do you live in Toronto?
I do.
Okay, and how many festivals have you been to?
TIFF festivals?
Yeah.
I only started really going the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, no way. Okay, and do you have any recommendations for somebody who's visiting from Los Angeles while I'm here?
Sure, go to a gala.
Okay.
If you go to a gala, there's a good chance that either the director or the cast or both will kind of show up for a Q&A, and that's kind of fun. Amazing.
And what's your name just for the show?
Alex.
Thank you so much, Alex. Here's actually that's my hotel key. I can't give you that. It looks like we are connected here. Can I get your name?
Jill Burkhart.
Jill, I'm Adrian with Let's Chat with Curry and Adrian. Are you here representing anybody, a movie? Are you a buyer? What's going on?
More of a buyer. I work for MGM Plus, and I oversee all of our unscripted programming. So I'm here really for meetings and also catching up on, all the latest films that are coming out, documentaries, but also I love narrative too. So
cool. Now, is this your first TIFF?
Oh no. I've been coming since 2011, I think. But I haven't been here in a few years because of the pandemic. It's my first time here since 2019.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is my first time ever coming here, so
really?
it's really, really exciting. What have you seen so far? What do you guys have on the schedule for yourself?
I saw Vices Broke last night, which I highly, highly recommend. It's a great film. Looking for distribution. What else? I'm really excited to see Mistress Dispeller tomorrow afternoon. I believe that's screening. Amazing.
And any other movies that you're very much looking forward to seeing while you're here?
Off the top of my head, they're like Anora is something I've been dying to see, but I know it's coming out soon too. So, as a buyer, you try and see stuff that doesn't have distribution and maybe is a little bit off the radar, not the big gala premieres, but I am excited to see the Elton John doc too.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Obsessed. I'm obsessed.
So fake. I'm not Curry being fake. Just how we had to do this is fake. I mean, the interviews are real, but just how I'm editing this is fake. I already played these for him 15 minutes ago, but we just needed to decide how we were going to react to them while we were recording.
You saying that room key, that's top 5 moments.
It was true. I pulled out what I thought was business card, and it wasn't, and it was my hotel key. But how fun.
Obsessed.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was weird because when we got there, it was super hot on We got there super late Thursday night and hit the ground running, obviously, Friday. So it was hot that day and then rainy on Saturday. So this was in between the 2 movies I saw on Saturday. And when I went outside, I was just like, I'm just going to talk to people. It was slightly sunny. It was much more agreeable weather. And so I was just trying to get people down to talk. And now I know how you feel for years and years and years of making videos.
Hearing that, I'm like, should we be doing this more?
Doing what?
Going up to people and talking to them again?
With microphones?
Yeah.
I loved it. Because it's just audio. It's not as intimidating as being filmed.
That's what I was about to say. We don't film. Maybe we do add some of that in.
Maybe we do keep these $500 microphones that I bought and not
or we could use
return
the
them.
little ones too.
No.
I know. But hey, for $15,
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
I was just trying to do good.
I know, no, though, and I'm telling you now, it's crazy how a $15 set of microphones that essentially just work off of a device that's plugged into your phone is so much more user friendly than the two very professional things that we got.
Yeah.
Ended up being, which I used in this scenario, but I was just using one. I didn't end up using two.
Smart.
But I did end up figuring out, I think, how to use two microphones.
Okay, good.
I think. It's not easy, and it's not my favorite way, so one would definitely be the way. But I agree. I think it is definitely easier to use.
A few questions about just Toronto and the experience in general.
Yeah.
Was it muggy because it was rainy?
It was humid, because you're also on the East Coast, essentially. You're only like an hour and a half plane ride from New York, so you do have that kind of weather.
Was the air cranked in the theaters?
Yes. There was never a time where I was hot.
Fabulous.
I think strictly yesterday, because I woke up late running to get to Nightbitch at 9 a.m., I was hot from being scared. I wasn't hot because it was hot outside. And I wasn't scared. I was just nervous that I was going to make it in.
Yeah.
But the AC was cranking.
Okay, and you said these are basically like AMCs or like normal theaters are using for TIFF.
Exactly.
So do they have the concession stands open?
Yes.
Like normal?
Yes.
Do you get like a ticket or something?
No, you buy it. There's no concessions included. No concessions are included.
Okay.
The theater that I essentially, when I was planning all of this out, going as press means that you get unlimited access to the press screenings, and those are happening at every hour of the day.
Yeah.
From Wednesday, which is when the festival officially started last week, through Friday of this week. So there are people who are there for essentially a week and a half, just going to movies the entire time.
Fabulous.
I can't do that, but But
you saw 7.
I wanted to go opening weekend. I thought that was cool in theory.
Yeah.
We agree that was cool in theory. So they essentially rented out or have an agreement with this theater called Scotiabank.
Okay.
And it's like a multiplex cinema.
Yeah.
There's 25 or 20 theaters, whatever it is. And each theater has a different screening. And the second it's over, people are queuing up for the next thing.
And so as press, you don't submit in like a queue or anything beforehand. You just show up.
You do. So like you do essentially, TIFF sent out an email for the ticketed events that press also could have access to.
Right.
They essentially give you 10 additional tickets for the sold out screenings that you can try to get allocated for.
Okay.
And they essentially sent an email out that said, I think Patrick can confirm, 30 minutes early is on time.
Okay.
15 minutes early is late.
Okay.
Like, you have to be there on time.
So you're the right person.
Exactly.
For this.
And that was for a ticketed event, right? So, like, you have a seat. There is everything. All the seats were assigned for those things. The press and industry screenings are not ticketed, meaning they know the amount of people that can fit in the theater, and they will have as many people that can go into that theater as possible. So the goal is to get there as early as possible to ensure that you get in. Like that, it's first come, first serve, essentially.
Okay, wow.
So that was how I had to kind of, operate the last 3 days, 2.5 days. I knew basically every day that I was there, I had a screening at 9 a.m., so I was getting there at 8 because I knew, the first day I got there at 7:45 because I was like, I don't know when they're going to let people in.
And were there already people online?
Not really.
Yeah.
They consistently let people in 30 minutes before the movie started, and there was not a single movie that I went to that did not start on time. If the movie was at 9, it started at 9.
Of course, because they got something right after.
There was no waiting, no commercials. They do have kind of the like a little preview before, essentially kind of like at the Academy Museum where they say like we're grateful for the land and all that stuff. Honestly, that was a million times better than the one at the Academy Museum.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Because they're using clips from beautiful movies and all of that. Hang on one second.
Okay.
I think we're still working properly. So that's all. They show that, and that's it. There's no Maria Menounos. There's no Nicole Kidman.
And was there ever so many people you were like, oh, I might not get into this one?
The only time I got scared was for Nightbitch.
Yes.
Because I got there, I woke up late. The night before, we had stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Because you also wanted to experience the city.
Yeah,
and
we were hanging out.
Yep.
And I mean, it wasn't like we were partying. We were playing Phase 10 in a hotel room.
I know.
you know? So, like, we went until 1. We
Yeah.
didn't even finish the Phase 10.
Oh, who won?
I think Manuela, Laura's wife. I know.
Patrick.
So I set an alarm for 7:15, thinking I can get out of the house by 7:30, be there at 8, because it's not far. I Ubered everywhere. The first day I walked, I was like, I want to gauge how far this is. It took like 15 minutes to walk, and I was like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So I Ubered each and every other time. So when I got to the theater, it was already like 8:35. And I was like, I'm scared. But I got in, and there was nobody in line, meaning they had let everybody in, and there was still a bunch of seats open.
Did you sit on the aisle every time?
In the back.
Fabulous.
Yep. The other thing too is like there wasn't a single theater that I was in that held less than like 600 people. They were gigantic, bigger than any theater I've been to in LA.
So there was that, like, were there 600 press members going to show up for stuff?
Mostly. The only time it was empty, which I feel bad, or not empty, but there was not a lot of people.
Crowd.
A smaller crowd was for The Life of Chuck. That was the only one. There were like ample seats left. And I don't know why that was. It was at the same time. I'm not sure. But that was the only one.
Did they repeat press screens? So like some movies
Yeah.
have more. So maybe the other one had more
Yeah,
people.
exactly. And I think they had just done the premiere the night before, the world premiere.
Oh.
And I'm sure a lot of press went to that too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But every other screening was jam-packed.
Amazing.
I know. And I'm literally like to climb up to the top of the back of the theater, at least 150 steps.
Oh my God. How many steps did you do?
I didn't close my rings every day, but I was taking Ubers.
That's true. Okay. But
So it was
you couldn't
wild.
take a bathroom break.
No, not. I mean, I would generally go into the theater, set my bag down, and then go to the bathroom and get a Diet Coke and snacks or whatever.
I trust.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into these movies.
I know. Are you going to say the synopses?
Would you like me to?
Let's say what you think they're about.
That's not going to get us very far. Okay.
Fine. Do you know where I started with on Friday?
On Friday, the first thing you saw was
The Luckiest Man in America.
The Luckiest Man in America.
Yeah, with Paul Walter Hauser.
Okay.
He plays. It's based on a true story about a guy who essentially. I mean, they call it cheating. I would call it cheating. He was on Press Your Luck in like the 80s or the 70s. 80s,
Is that the one?
actually.
No whammies, no whammies.
No whammies, no whammies.
Iconic.
And he had essentially learned the rhythm of the game, so he knew exactly where it was going to land every time.
Wow.
And he was up to like $100,000. And he was kind of like I wouldn't say a scam artist, but he was like obsessed with the show. He had like snuck his way onto the lot to audition. They found out who he was. They're like, get out of here. And they essentially bring him back because they're like, oh, he's actually the type of person we want on the show.
Yeah.
He's, down on his luck guy, divorced, whatever. But turns out he has some other larger personal life issues, and he's not exactly who he says he is.
Okay. Sort of like, what was the Price is Right documentary that was like that? With the guy who like cheated on the Price is Right and kept going
Yeah, it
back.
must be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very similar idea. I guess it's more common than we think.
Yeah.
Here's the plus side.
Okay.
It's an hour and a half.
We love.
You really cannot beat that.
Yep.
What have you seen Paul Walter Hauser in that you like?
Richard Jewell, the thing is, he's such an odd character actor.
Yeah.
Like, he is very polarizing,
Yeah.
I think, in general. I, Tonya was obviously my introduction to him, I think, and I
Yeah.
thought he was fabulous in that part. But I thought, he'll never work again.
Sure.
Which is fascinating, because then he has had an incredible awards career since then.
Absolutely.
I did not watch Blackbird?
Blackbird on Apple TV+.
Which he is apparently amazing at.
He's very good. And, he is also great in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And what's shocking the most to me is that whoever cast this movie really hit it on the nose. Because physically and emotionally and just how he plays his character is like identical to who this real person is. He looks just like him. So I was like, A+ on that.
Yeah.
He does... I think suffer from slightly the same thing that Coleman Domingo does, where he has such a distinct voice and way of existing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard to shake that you're watching a character versus watching Paul Walter Hauser.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So for him, it's going to be about finding movies where he can be his character self.
Exactly. Patty Harrison was also in this movie as like one of the other contestants. I wish she had a bigger part, but it didn't pan out that way, which was fine. But I loved her in it too.
And the guy with the teeth, Walter Goggins.
Yes, he plays the host.
Okay.
He's good.
Yeah.
I didn't end up finishing Fallout on Prime Video.
Uh-huh.
But he's great. Like, you can't deny he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's very good.
Again, another character.
It was good. I think I gave this movie like 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
It definitely has wide appeal. Like, a lot of people will watch it and enjoy it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I love game shows, so like I was hooked right into it. But it's the material is light. It's thin. You know what I mean? You're only on the set basically the entire time. What I honestly thought was really fascinating was like the behind the scenes stuff. Who is producing it? Who's directing it? How they cast it? That was fun. That was really fun. The guy? I think the main producer. What's his name? Is David Strathairn?
Uh-huh.
He is also in it, and he's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. Overall, very, very enjoyable. It was a good way to start off the festival.
Yes.
I think that's a great way to put it.
And my question at the end of all these is going to be, is this going to be an awards contender?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so, sadly.
Golden Globe?
No. Film
Okay.
independent.
Okay.
I think so.
Fabulous.
Here's the official synopsis. A pressure cooker comedy following the real-life story of everyman Michael Larson, who appeared on the popular game show Press Your Luck in 1984, which was this year marking the 40th anniversary, and managed to buck the system with millions of people watching, winning a record-breaking $110,000, equivalent to $300,000 today.
You did a good job.
Yeah. Paul Walter Hauser, Walton Goggins, Shamir Anderson, David Strathairn. Maisie Williams also is in it as like a PA, essentially.
Okay.
It's good. It's a very watchable, good movie.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
After that, you saw
The Substance.
The Substance stars Demi Moore,
Margaret
Qualley, and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
And it is about...
What you know a little bit more about this than
I've seen the trailer now 5 times.
Yeah.
It is about people taking some sort of drug that makes them hot.
A better version of yourself.
An improved version of yourself.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Totally polar opposite movie than The Luckiest Man in America. But this is what I knew. I like when you think about exciting new movies at film festivals, you think of movies like this.
Yeah. Amazing trailer.
Beyond. Literally, I got the chills when we saw it in theaters. So when I saw that I was going to be able to go to this, I was like, I need to be in that room.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was like second in line.
Okay, great.
This time, theater was jam-packed, obviously. And it is wilder than I could even express. First of all, it's almost 2.5 hours long, which I thought for a horror movie, body horror drama, was like, that's pushing it. But they used every single second perfectly.
Is my comparison of the Neon Demon correct?
Kind of.
Just like the style of it?
I'm going to say your favorite word. The camp is turned up a little bit higher than Neon Demon.
Okay.
Neon Demon was like broody kind of and more dramatic in that way visually. This one is like Spring Breakers. The camera style is really interesting. It's like super, super close up and loud and quick cuts and like that. Neon Demon wasn't quite like that, but similar vibe a little bit.
Is it the performance of Demi Moore's career like the reviews say?
How can it not be? Here's the thing. I'm literally getting chills thinking about it. First of all, I'll get to see it next week with you guys, which is going to be a blast. And I think I'm seeing it again with Will, which I think is going to be fun.
Okay.
She, like, the bar is high for her, obviously, because we haven't seen her in a long time. So, like, how is she going to do that? the risks that she takes and how far she pushes herself is honestly like unlike anything I've ever seen. It goes so far past where you think your brain could possibly go in terms of expectations and, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
She just blows totally through it and then goes up a million more steps.
Okay, now I have chills.
Margaret Qualley is amazing. She is shockingly amazing in this movie. And again, it's like, you know, it's going to be good from the trailer that you're watching.
Yeah.
You just cannot believe how far it goes.
Yeah. Is it scary or more gory? Or
More gory, honestly. So I don't think it's for some of the people that we know, aka Caroline, and you know, that's really the only person.
People
I
who
can
like
think of.
blood.
Yeah, exactly. It does get gory, but again, it's campy gory. So it's like it's so extreme and over the top that you can kind of laugh at it in a way. But really, what it all boils down to is like Demi Moore is playing this aging actress essentially, and the lengths that she goes to like try to maintain her notoriety in Hollywood.
Perfect casting.
Yeah, beyond. I just wonder, like, how did it get to her?
I know.
And it's fascinating because I saw another movie. Actually, Patrick and the gang did too, where it's kind of the same thing. Pamela Anderson. This, you know, older actress who has not been seen in a minute in a movie like that.
Yeah.
And
ever like that.
No, ever like that for that matter. And they're both essentially trying to find their way in their own stories. So kind of cool counter programming. Yeah. Substance is not for everybody.
But
definitely not for everybody.
It will be in the awards conversation, I'm sure.
I certainly hope so. Visual effects, writing is so creative, so original. The direction is amazing. The screenplay is amazing. I mean, I don't know if it could snag those nominations, but I would pray and hope that it does.
And Demi?
It's hard to even think of her not in the conversation.
Yeah.
Or in those five slots for that category, but she certainly deserves to be there.
Fabulous.
It was out of this world. And again, if you do not like, the only way to describe it is body horror, where, you know, things are happening to people and it can get a little messy and ugly. You just have to be mindful.
Okay.
Just be very mindful.
I really cannot wait.
I know. I'm so thrilled. I wish it was next week already.
No, tomorrow's your birthday.
I know. I don't want to wish it away, but so I want to see The Substance.
Okay, after The Substance, you saw.
I honestly need to say possibly my favorite movie of the festival. Yeah. Hard Truths.
You were handing out a lot of 5 stars.
I know. And I thought, am I being
that.
too generous?
No. Also, you're excited. You're enjoying them. And they need these kinds of good reviews to make people want to see them.
I know.
They should be paying you.
No.
Okay, Hard Truths.
Do you know anything about it?
It has the woman from In Fabric.
Yes. Marianne Jean-Baptiste.
Yes.
They had worked together before.
Uh-huh.
She has been nominated for an Academy Award in like the 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I want to find the movie name so that you can tell us if you've seen it before.
Okay. Also, one of my favorite tweets, I was trying to follow along a little bit like online.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite tweets about this movie was the only picture that had been released, like the one promo shot of it was her on the phone.
Oh.
And somebody said, we can finally know who she's talking to.
Yeah, that is funny.
That made me laugh.
So the movie that she was nominated for an Oscar for is called Secrets and Lies
Oh.
in 1996.
I've definitely heard of it.
It won the Palme d'Or, and the guy Mike Leigh directed it as well.
Okay.
So they have a working relationship with each other. If I'm not mistaken, he's like very well known for making movies about the UK, like people who live in the United Kingdom and their stories and whatnot.
Okay.
And what was fun is that this was a world premiere, a gala premiere, which is what homeboy Alex said in my interview, to try to go to those because usually the director or the actress or whoever will show up. And he came out in the beginning of the movie and did a little intro. JP, Patrick, can you come get the cat? And so he ended up coming out and did an introduction to the movie, and he's like an amazing little old man director. He came out with his little cane, and I was just like, you are so inspirational for working and creating amazing movies.
Yeah. Wow, he was at the Oscars in 96.
Yeah, it's wild.
And we're in 2024. He'd been hustling.
I know. So this is this little synopsis says reunited with Lee for the first time since multiple Oscar-nominated Secrets and Lies. The astonishing Marianne Jean-Baptiste plays Pansy, a woman racked by fear, tormented by afflictions, and prone to raging tirades against her husband, son, and anyone who looks her way.
Okay.
Which honestly encompasses it pretty well. It's like, I would say it's a dark comedy.
Okay.
Dark dramedy.
Hearing that, it reminds me of what was that Olivia Colman movie from a couple years ago where she was just kind of like crazy and going through the world.
The Lost Daughter.
Yeah.
Similar vibe, kind of. This is more, I would say, related. Like the way that her character is reacting is due to like how she was raised and the relationship she had with her mom and her sister and all of that. Unreal. Truly unreal.
Okay. And this is the one you were the first Letterboxd review?
Yes. Literally the first person ever to review it.
0 reviews.
Not only on Letterboxd, and I don't mean to say it, but this was the world premiere, meaning nobody in the world has seen it outside of this room.
And Adrian McMillan of Let's Chat with Curry and Adrian was the very first review in space. On the internet.
I couldn't believe it.
And when you said I did it or like whatever, and I clicked there was already 2.
Yeah.
Somebody was right behind you. I said, I bet that person was pissed.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. You know who was in my screening I didn't see, but I found out after the fact?
Who?
Club Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet's #1 fan who has basically become famous on Twitter for loving Timothy Chalamet.
Was there a Timmy movie there?
Dune. They were screening Dune 1 and Dune 2, and that's why she went.
I love her. We need to get her on here.
I know. You will love this movie.
I believe it.
Not everybody will love this movie because it's kind of relentless in the fact that she is just like constantly yelling at people, but the growth that she has by the end of it is really amazing, and it's just really sad.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it's really sad. Very heartbreaking. It's fantastic.
Your favorite movie you saw the whole time you were there?
I think it was. It's tied with The Substance, but this just like edges it out by a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it speaks just to the movies that I really am obsessed with.
Yeah.
Just like hardcore dramas, all of that.
In Fabric was in the conversation during award season, but I feel like never pushed that far into it. Do you think this will?
Yes.
Yes.
I just don't see how it can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we say that all the time. There are so many movies that slip through the cracks or like people don't see. I don't know.
But again, as much as it hurts when somebody is snubbed or not nominated, the fact that they're in contention makes a million more people watch the movie, which is fabulous.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm very excited. I tried to pick movies too that I want all of us to go and see together as well.
Yeah.
This is definitely up there. It is like it's out of this world, I think, personally.
Wow.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah. So that was the 3 and Friday.
One big day.
I know.
Were you exhausted after seeing all these movies, or were you like, I'm in it?
I almost texted you, but then I didn't because I was like, Curry, I think will disagree with me. But I was going to say it is tiring going to the movies.
Of course it is. I love the movies, but 3 in a day,
know.
even though yesterday when it was hot, I was like, I really could go sit through a movie right now.
I know. You know, in Hard Truths, I sat next to a girl who had just interviewed Mike Lee. And first of all, I was like, how'd you get that? I was like, what publication are you with? And she said, The Weekly Volcano.
What is that? I mean, fabulous.
And she was like, it's in Tacoma, Washington. But then she said, they don't really know I'm here. She's like, I applied and like came on my own. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
But she got to interview him. And I said, how many movies have you seen so far? And she was like, I saw 5 today. And one of them was The Brutalist, which is 3 hours long. So I was like, how are you doing this? Are you leaving early, which a lot of people do? They'll leave like 25 minutes early, 30 minutes early.
They just get a sense of the movie. Man, that's not the fun.
I don't think that's for me. So yeah, a lot of the people I saw on Twitter, she was seeing 4 or 5 movies a day.
Well, I'm thrilled you did 3.
I did 3. That was the most I did and led into Saturday.
Saturday, the first movie that you saw
The Life of Chuck.
The Life of Chuck, which stars Tom Hiddleston. Is that right? Hiddleston.
Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Karen Gilligan.
Patrick fact checker. Gillen.
Karen Gillan.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
What did you just say?
Chiwetel.
Oh, I thought you were describing her.
What?
Chiwetel.
And who I didn't know who was going to be in it, but you'll be thrilled by. Jacob Tremblay.
As a teenager?
Yes.
Not as something he did 5 years ago, like The Little Mermaid?
No.
Wow.
As a teenager. And also all of the people that Mike Flanagan always works with. His wife is in it, who is also in Midnight Mass and The Haunting of Hill House. And the sheriff from Midnight Mass is in it. The nun from Midnight Mass. You know, he has like a collection of people that he works with all the time,
yes.
which I love. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I think I should pull up the synopsis for this movie.
Okay.
Because I don't want to butcher it. And there's a lot to say.
Patrick says there isn't one.
There's no that can't be.
That's sick.
How
How is Jacob while you're looking it up?
Well, I wouldn't say this is a spoiler, but he comes in like the last portion of the movie and kind of saved the movie in my mind. So
Oh.
that I think says a lot,
Okay.
right?
So maybe he is surviving the child star curse.
I think he has. Here's the log line.
Okay.
Because, you know, we get press details and things that I
Oh,
could use.
yes, that's true.
A life-affirming, genre-bending story based on Stephen King's novella about 3 chapters in the life of an ordinary man named Charles Krantz, who Tom Hiddleston plays.
Okay.
I will preface this by saying Tom Hiddleston is in the movie for 10 minutes.
But the poster is literally just him.
Because it is his story.
Okay.
Which I think lends itself well to the idea of what this movie is trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of genre-bending in a way.
What genres would that be?
Comedy, drama, musical, not horror. It's not scary at all.
Okay.
Again, in the same respect of, or as the Luckiest Man in America, the source material feels light. It's a very simple story. I like how it's structured because it kind of goes backwards to forwards.
Okay.
In reverse. It starts with chapter 3 and ends with chapter 1, which I like. But do you want me to give you the notes that I shared with some folks?
Yeah.
Here's what I said, verbatim. The last 15 minutes of the life of Chuck really helped save the rest of the movie for me. There's no denying Mike Flanagan's talent. His direction and ability to materialize really intriguing stories is exceptional. I unfortunately think the source material for the life of Chuck didn't provide much room for his abilities to be flexed to their full force. The tone of the story felt wonky to me, and it was hard to stay connected to the weight of what was being told. Again, the last 15-20 minutes really helped alleviate overwhelming concern for how it was going to end.
Okay. That don't sound that good.
Here's the thing. It's really well acted. Mark Hamill is also in it, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
He is a very interesting person to watch at all times. The first chapter to me was the best. The first and the last. Middle one, not my favorite. And that's really where Tom Hiddleston only stars in. That is in that middle section.
Okay.
I think people will like it. A lot of people at the festival really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It just really didn't connect with me. And I'm trying to think in my mind, like if I were you watching it with me, what would you think? I think you'll say it was okay.
Will it be in theaters?
I don't know. I don't think it has a distributor yet.
Will it be on Netflix because of his relationship with Netflix?
Well, now he has relationship with Prime, right, Patrick? With Amazon. And I do see it as a streaming movie, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it'll do really well there.
Yeah.
But I personally did not totally love it.
Yeah.
It didn't just grip me and make me obsessed like I want a movie to be.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. Exactly.
Will it be in the award season conversation?
I think maybe in some respects. I don't think in like acting categories or any of the major things, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. I would say keep an eye out, though, if you're listening to this and like Tom Hiddleston and like those other actors we named or like Mike Flanagan, watch it. It's also, again, Stephen King book, novella, whatever.
So he's really going through and getting his lesser-known works made.
Adapted and made. Totally.
What's the other one coming out? The Monkey.
Oh, right.
He's
Osgood Perkins.
He's got some gambling debts. That's what they always say.
Like Bruno Mars.
Nicole Kidman.
Oh, man.
Patrick says Mike Flanagan's doing The Dark Tower.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Again?
Yeah, wasn't that just... that came out with Idris Elba.
And Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
A TV show.
A TV show. Wow.
Next.
Do you remember what I saw?
Pamela.
Yes. Good job.
Thank you.
Do you know what that's about?
Pamela Anderson. Yeah, because I did the questions.
Yeah.
Pamela Anderson stars in The Last Showgirl. Is that the right name? Yeah, The Last Showgirl, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Pamela Anderson. First of all, here's my biggest discovery doing those questions was Robert Schwartzman.
Yeah.
From Rooney, from the Princess Diaries movie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He owns Utopia Media.
Oh, that's his.
He created that.
Oh, good for him.
I was like, rich people stay rich.
And they're all related, obviously, to the Coppolas.
Exactly.
And Nicolas Cage.
And Jason's in the movie.
Yes, very briefly.
And we loved Between the Temples last week.
We
Okay,
did.
so this movie is about a woman who has been a showgirl in Vegas for like 30 years. And Dave Bautista, Mike's brother. Dave Bautista is like her boss, and he comes in and says they're closing the show.
Yeah.
And so she goes on a journey to find herself.
Totally. Also with Brenda Song and Karen Chipka and Billy Lord.
All-star cast, and Pamela Anderson's first dramatic film.
I mean, when was the last time she did a leading movie?
Scary Movie 4.
I mean...
1.
That's insane.
Barbed Wire, yeah. And that was in the night. I mean, that was like when she was still on Baywatch.
It's
right
wild.
after.
And I just saw an interview she did where she said her ex-agent got this for her years ago.
Wow.
And passed. Didn't even show it to her.
Wow.
And she said that just goes to show you how underestimated I was.
Mm-hmm.
Which I am fascinated by. I love I was going to say history, but I love just the inner workings of the industry and like how projects come to people and the timing of things.
Of course.
It's wild because people pass on jobs all the time.
Yeah.
And they end up getting made with somebody else and they're huge, successful. It's like, would that have happened if the other person was in it?
Totally.
You know what I mean? But this movie feels like it was made for her.
And it's a great, like we were talking about Demi. Pamela Anderson's sort of in this moment where she's like having this new career sort of, and people are respecting her and taking a look at her life and her history in a different way.
Yeah.
And so this movie sort of feels like a right choice.
Absolutely. And this was the movie that Patrick and Laura and Denise and Manuela got to see as well. They went to the world premiere.
Incredible.
As well. And so those events, those like gala larger events happen at like performing arts centers and theaters, like where plays would happen and stuff like that. So they got to go and have a little glamorous night out on Friday night.
What was this? Was it like the sound and the screen and stuff normal in there? It didn't feel weird because it was in that kind of space? Fabulous.
Felt totally normal to them.
Okay.
And he loved it. You know, I feel like it was a kind of a mixed reaction from that group, which is... Again, fascinating because it's like a 4-person focus group. Patrick is obsessed with movies. Denise does not go to the movies very frequently. Laura and Manuela don't go to the movies very frequently. But I kind of have a feel of like what they like to watch.
Yeah.
And so, like, Manuela didn't love it. But she also grew up in Colombia. So she was like, I don't have a connection to Pamela Anderson. Denise liked it. Patrick loved it. You know what I mean? It was a very mixed group reaction. And that it has generally gotten, I would say, like overwhelmingly good reviews since coming out. And I'm in that camp as well.
Yeah.
I really... the way I described it was perfectly imperfect. She is so good. Jamie Lee Curtis is so good. Everybody acting in the movie is so good. Again, the story is kind of meandering. The way it's directed is kind of messy and, not totally linear in a lot of ways either. But I think it works in the way that, how we're supposed to interpret the story that we're watching.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's fun. It's beautiful. It's funny. It's sad. I mean, what else? You couldn't ask for anything else?
I have a feeling. Do you think she's going to be nominated?
Pamela?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of in the same respect as Paul Walter Hauser and Coleman Domingo on a different level. It's hard to separate the fact that we're watching that you kind of are, you're watching Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
It's like Oprah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
In a lot of ways, Pamela Anderson is so recognizable and so iconic in so many ways. It's hard to shake the fact that you're supposed to be watching
a character
and not
know.
her.
Yeah.
But again, works so well because it's very similar to like her story as an actress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we haven't really seen her in a long time, but she's so revered in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And as like a pop culture icon.
And Patrick said he thinks Jamie Lee Curtis will be nominated.
I could see that being the case.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a big press movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
She is going to do the full gambit of press. I feel that
You
already.
do?
I mean, being on this end of it, where I was just seeing like Hollywood Reporter and Entertainment Weekly and stuff, basically once they did their press, their like round or like couch interviews or whatever, that was all the feeds were.
Yeah. You know, I'll also say that the cast of characters in the movie with her just help elevate the whole thing. It feels so real. It just like the way that they set Shelley's house, Pamela Anderson's character, her house. I was like, you live here, like that. It made me really feel like I was there, which
Good
I
direction.
loved. Oh my god, yeah, obsessed. I gave it 4 stars,
which is good.
It's great. I don't know what would have made me give it a 5. I don't know. I have to see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you will be.
Oh, yes.
I can believe it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so that was your Saturday.
That was our Saturday, and we spent the rest of the day running around.
Peak of running around that you'd like to reveal?
I mean, we went to an amazing steakhouse on Saturday night.
Did you have a steak?
Oh, yeah. Baby.
How'd you have it cooked?
Medium. And they brought me out a little birthday cake.
That's so nice. What was the flavor?
Chocolate.
Of course. Okay, Sunday.
You know what I started off with. I just said it.
Night.
Bitch.
You know, we're going to struggle the next couple months between that and the Maisie Stella movie.
Oh, grown ass, what's it called?
I don't know how when I was typing the emails, I was like, I cannot even believe I'm writing this word to Adrian.
Okay, what's the synopsis
it is
from
about,
your view?
Well, it is wild because basically there has been one image for this movie for months, and it was kind of wild. It's about Amy Adams is like having a midlife crisis and becomes a dog. Like it's about motherhood and sort of that kind of stuff, and like dealing with like daily struggles of like suburban life.
Yeah.
And then she becomes a dog. That's basically what I know.
Yeah, and that's what I thought of it going into it as well. What we don't know is that she is like a former artist.
Okay.
Had this like very creative, wild, free-spirited way of living before she had a child. And like you said, it's just now kind of stuck in this monotony of motherhood. Like that's the way I was viewing it after that. I was like, she just has a monotonous life, which I think all mothers can say.
Yeah.
There's unpredictability every single day, but it's the same thing over and over again in the same respect. And so it's like about her kind of losing her mind and like being afraid of being stuck in like in that cycle forever.
When you saw the trailer the other day before you went, were you like, oh, this isn't going to be good?
I was scared.
I was nervous when I watched. I was like, I don't think this is for Adrian.
Yeah, and I think they did it on purpose.
The trailer kind of reminded me of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Right.
Like that style. And I was like, oh, this is really not what I was expecting.
Kind of, yeah, lighthearted.
Yeah, but I thought, it looks good.
Right. Here's what we have to remember.
Yeah.
The woman that directed this, Marielle Heller, directed Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Exactly. And what was the other one?
I don't know. No, that was somebody else.
Anyway, you keep going.
And so when I saw the trailer, in the back of my head, I had to know that there is going to be some kind of darker, moodier element to this than what we're seeing before our eyes. And that was totally the case. Did you have an answer?
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which does not help this argument. I'm sorry. But I did love that movie.
She has a great streak right now.
Oh my God, yeah.
This movie is not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the nature of the beast because you have to suspend your disbelief.
I have never seen the internet go against something so quickly and then come back around in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Everybody saw the trailer and like, oh, this movie looks like it sucks.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the reviews started to trickle out, everybody was like, oh, she's Mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. All right.
Scoot McNairy also plays her husband, and he is so good in this movie too. It's totally unexpected. Obviously, if you know, I mean, from the trailer, would you say that you could tell she's thinking she's turning into a dog?
Sort of, kind of. It doesn't really give it. So you don't know.
No, it's based on a book. So I've never read the book. I don't know how literally they were going to take it, but they take it pretty literally.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Like it's
like Wolf.
I didn't see that, but it's so good.
You think
it's
she's
so
gonna get nominated?
good. Yeah, I think she would.
I mean, honestly, whenever I was like, "Oh, it looks bad," I was like, "Well, Amy Adams doesn't exactly do bad movies. She's usually excellent in them, even when they're bad."
I totally agree.
Me and Patrick just watched the clip of Dear Evan Hansen the other day. Did we not? Yeah, where were we?
I feel like we might have been here.
Yeah.
Or no, at my mom's house.
Oh, you're exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's just magnificent, and I think you will love it.
Yeah, I know I will.
I think you will love it.
Yeah.
And again, she's kind of like fearless, which I love. Like she has whole, you know what I mean? She will let it herself go. She doesn't care. And that's what you need out of an actress.
Exactly.
You want somebody who's going to push themselves and challenge themselves in very interesting ways. And this is that movie, without a doubt.
I can't wait. It gives me chills thinking about it.
I know. I don't know when this one's coming out. I think it's later this year, slightly later this year. So we'll have to go.
Yeah, we will be there. I'll be seeing it twice.
Yeah, but again, like my mom won't be watching this movie.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of the people in our lives. It's for like 75% of them.
Mm-hmm.
The other percent, not so much.
Yeah.
People will not like it. That's just going to be the nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go into it with an open mind, knowing that this is going to get a little crazy, a little wonky, you'll have a good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your final movie.
Which I'm honestly thrilled about. It was a great last movie to end on. Do you know?
Remind me.
Conclave.
Yes.
With Ray Fiennes and Stanley Tucci and Isabella Rossellini. Oh my God.
And it's about a pope retiring.
Dies.
And then them
Selecting
finding
a new pope.
Okay.
It's like the House of Cards and Doubt and any other kind of like political thriller drama just set basically in one location for 2 hours.
Did it live up to our other favorite Pope movie, The Two Popes?
Yes, but different.
Okay.
The Two Popes is more like a meditation on like the psyche of a pope. This is like the inner workings of the Vatican and like the drama and literal political moves that take place when a new pope is selected. It's literally like 60 cardinals in a room just voting over and over and over again.
Oh my God.
And there's dark secrets that come out and the connections of all these different cardinals and why some people want one to take over versus the other. John Lithgow is also in it. Oh my God, he's amazing. I'm literally getting the chills thinking about it. It's so good. And I'm telling you now, I would have never guessed how this movie ended in 1 billion years.
In a good way?
In a great way. People in the press screening were laughing. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was supposed to be funny.
Was it they were laughing because it was uncomfortable?
I think a little uncomfortable. Okay. There are funny lines in the movie, but it is not a funny movie at all. Mm-hmm. And the ending is certainly not funny. It's unfunny. It's very serious.
So we shouldn't see it at City Walk.
Do not see it at City Walk. We need to go to Century City.
Fabulous.
You know what I mean? We'll have Panda Express and we'll go see Conclave.
Yes.
And I did not expect it to take that turn. It honestly, I would say with, I won't even say that part. I was going to say, not obviously the ending. I'm not going to tell you what happens. But the conclave, the convention of these cardinals gets kind of very early on in their meeting. I think honestly before they even start. Mm-hmm. A wrench kind of gets thrown into it because somebody gets introduced into this situation. and then they sequester themselves. Where basically like the windows are locked. They have no communication outside, no communication inside. And Ray Fine, who is amazing in this movie, is basically the one directing this whole thing. Not deciding who the Pope is, but, guiding them throughout the process. Wow.
Do you think he will be nominated?
I could see that being the case.
The Academy loves movies with old men.
Yeah.
And it looks good.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. And Focus Features did retweet my review.
How do you
the Conclave movie account on Twitter.
Okay, you had a big social media weekend.
Kind of.
That's big.
I know. It was a really good way to end the festival. I'm so glad I stopped at that point.
So what was your favorite movie that you saw?
I think Hard Truths.
What was your least favorite movie you saw?
The Life of Chuck.
Do you have, how we were sort of picking which ones to go to, which ones not to go to? Mm-hmm. Do you have any regrets?
Any regrets? Do I have any regrets?
It's a tough question.
Any regrets? I'm trying to think what was one that I had wanted to go to that I wasn't able to go to. I think, honestly, it's more of the fact that there are more movies screening that weren't screening when I was there. Mm-hmm. Like Queer with Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's happening. I would say if there was a... You know how we always say peak in a pit, rose in a thorn?
Yep.
The thorn/pit is that they did not pick me for any red carpets. I applied to 4. They didn't select me for any, so I'm a little bummed about that.
Yeah.
But the opportunity to go and be there and be in the mix.
Is our first one.
Our first one, TIFF, is pretty big.
A huge one.
Yeah, for sure. So that was amazing. I wish you could have been there.
And now you are so well prepared for the next one.
Yeah, I would certainly apply again next year.
Yeah.
I would hope that I could go for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And it was just so fun. The one thing I didn't really do was go to... we didn't socialize in the spaces.
Yeah.
Which is different, obviously, because we had people there. Patrick was there. Our friends were there.
Yeah.
But there were definitely mixers that happened that I could have gone to.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Exactly.
I did give our podcast to the very nice young lady I sat next to on the plane.
Fabulous.
She said, "Are you traveling home for business or for pleasure? Where are you going?" I was like, "Oh, we just left TIFF. I have a podcast." She said, "Oh, I love podcasts. What is it?" Immediately gave it to her.
With
She was like,
a
"I listened
QR
to
code
it."
on the back.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Iconic.
Gave it to the people we interviewed. I saw a lot of people that I love online. Brother Bro, the Oscar experts, the twins that I love. I don't know if I've ever shown you their videos.
Did you say big fan?
I went up to them and said, "Big fan. A big fan of your work." And they're like, "Oh my God, thank you so much."
Did you say, oh, you didn't know a Club Shaman was there?
No, I didn't know that she was there. Patrick, who was the other guy that you said was there that I was there too with and I saw but I didn't tell you? Who was on TikTok and reviews movies? He's like a... Cinema Joe. You know Cinema Joe?
No.
He's big on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. So I saw a bunch of people and it was just so cool. It was very, very cool.
I love it.
I'm so glad I went.
I'm really proud of you and excited
you.
for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm thrilled. Today I reached out about Sundance.
Which is in?
January. The application process is open.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah, I've seen his videos.
Yeah.
Cinema Joe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't always agree with him.
No, me
but
either.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's opinions. We all got one.
Exactly. So, yeah, there's a ton more festivals to happen, and I hope we get to go to many, many more.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words about TIFF?
Just go to the movies.
I will say, if anything comes from this, right, this conversation we're having right now is I am so excited for all, the rest of the year of movies.
Of course. And just in general. I cannot wrap my head around, the next 5 years of movies that we'll get to see. That really tickles my heart.
I love movies. We love the cinema.
Yeah, you could not ask for better people to go cover movies, talk about movies, review movies. It's the two of us. That's it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for listening to this special TIFF episode.
We'll have another one.
We'll have another one next weekend.
Normal programming.
We'll be talking about Beetlejuice.
Rebel Ridge.
You're going to watch The Deliverance between now and then because we have to get into that. I watched it yesterday. My jaw was on the floor.
I can't wait.
Yes, we have a lot to discuss.
All righty.
All right, y'all. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to Let's Chat with Curry and Adrian. If you enjoyed the show, and we know you did, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Keep the conversation going by following me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Curry Terrell, and Adrian on Instagram at Adrian McMill, and Twitter at Yo Adrian McMill. Discover our weekly song picks by adding our playlist on Spotify or Apple Music, all linked in this week's episode description. Got questions or feedback? Email us at letschatwithcurry@gmail.com. See you next time. Bye, y'all.